What do we do then when we see a problem involving percent change? There are 5 different quantities that could be involved in a percent change problem. Right? We can be concerned with where we start, how much we change, and where we end up. We can be concerned with amounts or percents. And of course, these are all percents of the starting amount, so this will always be 100. And then there are 2 proportions that we know, and we know that we might have to add or subtract to find the amount change. We might have to add or subtract to find the final percent. When we encounter a percent change problem, then we should look at these 5 quantities and we should say, what do we know? What do we want? And once we've worked both of these out, what should we figure out on the way? So I'm going to just show you an example and approach it completely naively. And then in the next several videos, we'll see some examples with various arrangements of what we know and what we want. Suppose we know that John's time in last year's race was 93 seconds. This year, his time decreased by 7%, and we'd like to know, what was John's time this year? These 5 are the quantities I might be interested in a percent problem. Let's see, we're talking about last year and this year. So last year is where we started. Last year's time was 93 seconds. So the starting amount was 93. This year, his time decreased by 7%. So the percent change was 7%, and it was a decrease. What was John's time this year? We want to know his time this year. That's the final amount. I see 2 possible strategies I could follow here. I could either find the amount change and then subtract, or I could find the final percent and then solve a proportion. I'm going to choose to find the amount change because I think I'd rather do the arithmetic with 7 than with whatever I get here, which is a bigger number. So first I'm going to find the amount change, and then I'm going to subtract to find the final amount. That's my plan. So in order to find the amount change, I'll set up the proportion. The amount change over the starting amount is the percent change out of 100. I'll cross multiply. I'll need to multiply 93 times 7. 7 times 3 is 21. 9 times 7 is 63, 64, 65. X is the missing thing in a multiplication problem. So it's 651 divided by 100. I'll want 2 digits after the decimal point. 6.51. That isn't what I was looking for originally, right? But I needed it on the way to my answer. My answer will be, remember this is a decrease, 93 minus 6.51. Let's write that out. 93, 6.51 minus 93 is 93.00. 0 minus 1, can't do it, have to borrow. He hasn't got any. Borrowing from this place now. borrow from the 10 I just got. 10 minus 1 is 9. 9 minus 5 is 4. 2 minus 6, can't do it, borrow again. 12 minus 6 is 6. 8 minus nothing is 8. 86.49 seconds was John's time this year. I'm going to give you one of these to try as well. Just go into the problem, identify what it is you need to know, and decide what you need to work out on the way. It is possible that there will be more than one correct way to solve the problem. Suppose James made $47,500 last year. This year he got a 7% raise. How much more will James make this year? Pause the video and try this now. Okay, the 5 things we could be interested in are the starting amount, the amount change, and the final amount, the percent change, and the final percent. In this problem, we're interested in last year and this year. So last year is where we started. James made $47,500 last year. So our starting amount will be $47,500. This year he got a 7% raise. So the percent change is 7%. And that's a raise, an increase. How much more will James make this year? How much more? What we want to know is the amount change. Oh, it looks like this one's going to be pretty straightforward. It looks like in this one we aren't interested in anything to do with the final amount or the final percent. So we won't need to do any steps in the middle. We'll just say the amount change over the starting amount is the percent change over 100. Cross multiplying, we'll say x times 100 is 47,500 times 7. Let's do that multiplication. Of course, we're going to do that as 475 times 7 with 2 zeros on the end. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 7 is 49, 50, 51, 52. 7 times 4 is 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. 2 zeros on the end. What times 100 gives me this number? Oh, if I cancel some zeros, I'm just dividing by 1, really. I get 3,325. Answer to my question, James makes $3,325 more this year.